Hey, vinyl community, Jeff here. I am back again, and I wasn't planning on doing this video, but I just got home, well, a little while ago. I went out, so in my previous one about the birthday gifts, I showed that I had gotten a gift certificate to the local book and record store that I go to, AFK Books and Records. Now, this is the same place that a few videos ago I did what I called a major score in the sense that it was a bunch of some fairly obscure 80s metal. That's where I got the three Virgin Steel albums, and that video where I showed some of that, just some, less than normal 80s, obscure stuff that I was so thrilled to have. And so I went back and then I started looking through the used records again, and I saw one or two pieces that I had left behind, but then I started seeing some other things. Anyway, needless to say, and there was more. So anyway, let's get into that, and then I'm going to tell you the story of what. So anyway, this was the first thing I noticed. Probably wasn't part of that guy's collection, whoever sold that stuff, but this was in great condition, so I picked up UFO. So no place to run. It has a clip corner. It might have been that same collection, because you'll notice some of the ones I found have clip corners. And so they start to look kind of like maybe he somehow got his hands on a lot of cutout stuff. Anyway, grabbed this. It was in great condition, and I needed some more UFO. I don't have a lot of that. Won't say a whole lot about that. This one, I was so thrilled. If I had to pull up, Plug It In by Mama's Boys. Now, I love Mama's Boys, and this album has been released with a couple different covers, couple different labels, couple different things. When I looked it up, I found that this is one of the early ones on the Ultra Noise label. In Discogs, it shows as the first, but it was one of the first ones in '82 that I guess issued this. But it was the only label. This was the only printing of this that Ultra Noise did, I guess, and then it got picked up by some other labels. Anyway, yeah, Mama's Boys. If you're not familiar with them, you should be. All of these albums were just in pristine condition, just like the Virgin Steel and the ones that I got that day. So whoever this person was took primo care of their records. I saw this one the other day at a place. They wanted too much money for it, and it was in real rough condition, but Rock Goddess, Hell Hath No Fury. I had this album. I remember buying this album back in the 80s when it came out. They played them occasionally late at night on MTV. And I remember getting it back in the day and wasn't too impressed with it, because it's kind of just like hard rock. You really expected more. And this was back in the day when we were getting into the real energetic, metal of the day. But over the years, I've, heard a lot more of their stuff and really enjoyed them. I'm not sure who I enjoy more, them or like Girls School. They both have, lots going for them for the all-female outfit. So I was glad to get this. And then speaking of the all-girl outfit, Precious Metal in shrink wrap with the hype. It is opened. It is okay. No, this one was not one of the cutouts. Got a little orange sticker there. I don't know. I saw someone show this not too long ago, and I can't exactly remember who, but I had actually went into Discogs and put it on my wish list based on whoever it was that showed it back then. It's on Mercury. And yeah, I remember hearing a little bit about them back in the day, but don't remember a whole lot about them. But had to have it. And then, like I say, shrink wrap and with the hype. And they are a California band, 83-ish. This is an 85 release. I think they had a couple more albums, and they are gone a couple years later. And then up next, this one, Paul Di'Anno's Battle Zone. Now, Paul Di'Anno, of course, former vocalist from Iron Maiden. He's done a lot of things under different band names, Di'Anno, whatever, and Battle Zone is one of them. This one was clip corner, again, in the shrink wrap with the hype sticker. You can see there was some kind of a sticker there they got there. But, it was opened, but it maintained its shrink. And under the Battle Zone era, this would have been in the mid-'80s, not too long after the being out of Iron Maiden, and this would have been their second album, 1987. So I've heard a lot of Di'Anno stuff over the years. I have seen a little bit about Battle Zone, but honestly, I don't think I've ever heard any of it. So thrilled to have that. All right, this was just I don't know. I don't know if this was that guy's collection. It seems so out of place because it's not an 80s album, but they had one of the fairly new Armored Saint albums. This has been on my wish list since it came out, and I was just waiting for the price to go down. Anyway, Punching the Sky. There's various versions of this. There's some that are colored. There's some that have a 7-inch. This is just the normal black double record set. Comes with a full poster, big poster of the cover. Metal Blade Records. Anyway, this was from a couple years ago, and yeah, had that on my wish list. And I thought, you know, I'm going to go ahead and grab that just because it was a better than average price. All right, up next is German metal band Storm Witch. Now, I was a little familiar with them in the latter years, you know, in the past 10 years or so. They had a singer that, you know, used to sing for, well, he sang for Attacker a little bit. Anyway, he's a Facebook friend. And I picked up some stuff, you know, I was listening to some of the stuff digitally for that. But I don't ever see this kind of stuff. This is, you know, a German metal band. I'm not 100% sure if these were, maybe they were released in America. This is actually Canadian press. And this is from 1989. And this is the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like their 6th album. A lot of people have seen the first album by them, that Walpurgis Night or whatever. I've seen that one. I think it got recently reissued. Anyway, I was surprised to see this. And so I had to grab it. Power metal-ish, you know, most of their stuff tends to be. These were what I would call the score of the day. They were also the most costly, and I almost didn't want to buy them. But I took a quick look on Discogs at what these sell for, and it was 2 to 3 times more than the store was selling them for. I mean, more than that, actually. I think one of these was selling for like $160-something. I believe they're only overseas releases because they are from a French metal band. Anyway, French metal band Nightmare. Now, I was familiar with their, like, earlier. I have a copy, I think, of one of their albums from like under 2010 that I really enjoyed. Maybe it was after 2010. It's their latter material. This is like 1984, their first album, Nightmare. And it's on Ebony Records. Pretty sure these are imports, but I mean, this is the stuff that I thrive on. Just love the, you know, older 80s stuff that's, anyway, I couldn't resist that. And then, of course, I saw the second album, Power of the Universe, 1985, same band. And I went ahead and pulled the trigger and you know, spent a little more. No, it wasn't outrageous. You know, it wasn't outrageous. More than a new album would cost. But anyway, it wasn't outrageous. Just more than I like to pay for used records or, you know, older records. But like I say, when I looked them up, they were selling for over $100, and I thought, well, you know, that's way cheaper than that. So anyway, their second album, they've got quite a few albums out. Actually, let me see, on their last album was in 2020. They had an album come out, so they're still kind of hanging in there. Not sure if it's all the same members or not, but this one was not in with the rest of them, and actually, based on the dating on the sticker, has been in the store since February, and I just never noticed it. But I just was flipping around looking through the newer records, and where they also have used records in there too. I was looking for something because at this store, if you buy something new, you get 25% off of one of the used items you get. And so I thought, hey, you know, if I could find something reasonable that I want, reasonably priced for new. So I'm looking through the new stuff, and I saw this, and it caught my eye just because of the artwork. I had no idea about it. I looked it up. Maybe you all know about this Hollow Ground. It just looked kind of demo-ish. And then I kind of looked it up and dug around. It's a double record set. It's on High Roller Records. And I know High Roller Records, they don't mess around. They go top notch. It's got a poster. It's double record. Everything they normally do. It's got the insert. And it turns out, 1980 new wave of British heavy metal band. Didn't do a whole lot, but this was like rare tracks, demos. The second album is all handheld cassette recorder type demos, you know, just for the band. But this is kind of like a archive of their early stuff, and it's like most of their stuff has never been really released. And this is a 2014 High Roller Records gatefold and everything. And I'm like, you know, I got to go for it because I listened to a couple tracks online and it was great, you know. It was like 1980s, that borderline metal sound, new wave of British heavy metal type sound. And it's High Roller Records, which means somebody had to pay a pretty penny to get this over into the States. And then they sold it. So, and it's early 2014. I mean, you know, I've bought High Roller Records the past few years, but, you know, this is one of their earlier releases. So, double record set. Great stuff. Can't wait to break into this, so I had to do that. So I get up to the counter to go ahead and buy all of this, and I asked a girl behind the counter, who's one of the main people, been there for many years, where is all this 80s metal stuff coming from? And do you have any more in the back that you're hiding? She said, well, what happens is, she said, there's a guy that sold stuff to them on and off for years, who recently has been coming in and dropping batches of some of that more obscure 80s metal stuff. And she didn't know. She's like, she didn't know if he's getting out of vinyl, if he's just thinning the herd or what. So, but, you know, she said, like I said in the previous video, they showed a copy of Power of the Night by Pantera, which I have to assume is an original, because all the stuff he's selling is original 80s, mid 80s stuff, all OG presses. I didn't, you know, she couldn't recall what they sold that for, but she said one of the batches he brought in recently, there were people waiting for her to put it on there. I don't know anything about Danzig. Maybe you Danzig fans know, but she said there was like a first issue or first album by Danzig that they sold for like $250. So I don't know. I wish there was some way to be alerted that this stuff's coming in there so I could get down there. But I guess most of the people that are buying this stuff aren't buying the more obscure stuff that I'm interested in. Not that I wouldn't be interested in buying some of the stuff that maybe I missed out on. Did all of that, talking to her, blah, 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 paid, went home, got in the car and drove away, and got almost all the way home and realized I never gave him my gift certificate. My birthday present, still got it in my pocket. So I still got to go back and buy something else. Headed over, had to pick up my wife, went by the record store that's over on her side of town. Wasn't a whole lot there. I just had some time to kill, but I did find Struck Down by Y&T. And this was, I think, one of the only real Y&T albums that I didn't have. I have the first album. This is the second album. And then they started doing the whole Y&T thing after this. Before it was, they were just yesterday and today. And then I'm thinking I'm missing, you know, Musically Incorrect, or, you know, one of the ones that were later years that got reissued on vinyl. But most of the stuff I have, I'm also missing Black Tiger, one of my favorite albums, but I just have not found one of those yet for a decent price. But I had to get this because I've been looking for this, and yeah, it was in great condition, and it was at the other store, so I grabbed that, and then I went and picked up my wife, and that was it. Consider this my post-birthday fun, but this was all out of my own pocket because obviously I didn't give my gift certificate. Anyway, that's it for now. Just wanted to share with you. Thanks a lot for watching. I will be back. I had another video planned for today that I didn't do because I had some other things I wanted to show. I'll do that next time. Rock on. Rock hard.